I created the fastest build in PoE2 history. Despite that, it had its issues. It was expensive, you relied a lot on evasion, and it couldn't kill pinnacle bosses fast enough. So that's what I've changed. It's now cheaper, insanely tanky with 50,000 effective HP, which in turn allows you to also stack item rarity, and it's capable of one-tapping anything. Map bosses, easy. Pinnacle bosses, easy. Pinnacle bosses in a group, not as easy, but still easy. Your wife, easiest of them all. So let's cover this disgusting build and everything you need to get it online. And we're starting with the speed of the build, because that's perhaps the most important part as to why you should play it. Instead of running around at 33 attacks per second, we're now rocking 20-something. Because while it was indeed fun role-playing a coked-up squirrel, at least we can somewhat control our character now. And the reason of being so fast is, of course, Tempest Flurry. It's propelling us forward every attack, and the more attack speed we have, the faster we propel. And the reason for attacking so fast is simple: hollow palm. Using this and getting as much evasion as we can, we're getting a multiplicative bonus to our already existent attack speed. Combo that with frenzy charges and charge regulation, which is also multiplicative, you're basically done. All there's left to do is to grab attack speed wherever you can find it on gear and in the passive tree, and you've got yourself a speed demon build. Now, when it comes to scaling our damage, we do that when we scale our defensives as well, synergizing nicely with each other. For starters, evasion equals attack speed, but also energy shield equals crit chance. So the puzzle for us becomes, how can we find a good mix of evasion, energy shield, attack speed, and crit chance? Well, that will of course depend on your gear, but you do have one particular breakpoint you're trying to hit, and that is the crit chance on your Falling Thunder. Because this is going to be our main one-shotting ability, and we can in fact scale its crit chance to 100%, allowing it to always critically hit. More on that later though. The rest on your defenses can be spent on evasion, and you'll get a good mix of defenses, attack speed, and crit chance. Finally, let's talk a bit about budget, because you can indeed spend 2 mirrors on this build and make it absolutely perfect. But you can also spend 15 divines and make it good enough. But that's probably the absolute bare minimum you should have before attempting the build. Let's see why, and start by checking out the gear I'm currently using. Starting us off, the first and only mandatory piece of gear you need is the Constricting Command Helmet. You'll need this for the passive tree to work, and also to maintain the ability to spam your Tempest Flurry. Because currently, I'm spending somewhere in the ballpark of 1500 mana per second, but using this helmet and slapping on the Defy gem, we no longer have any mana costs. Pretty neat, and definitely a must-have. Then, your next priority becomes stacking as many melee skill ranks as possible. You want 3 on your amulet and 2 on your gloves, as directly scales your flat damage in your hollow palm, along with scaling your skill damage, basically double-dipping with each other. And we sure love double-dipping over here at Paragaming. Then after that, it's evasion, energy shield, and flat damage everywhere, along with capping your resistances. Finally, and this is what I'm currently doing, is juicing item rarity. But you can't really focus on this until after you've got the build online, because you'll just fuck yourself over trying to fit everything in. Alright, let's go into the specifics. Your amulet is +3 to melee, then you focus on defenses, and finally fill out with either damage or item rarity. You need 1 spirit roll to use all of the skills in the build, and it doesn't have to be a high roll. I have my max life recovery in one of my gems, but you can remove this and grab 1 life recovery node in the passive tree, and you'd only need 20 spirit on your amulet. Also, anoint either all natural if you need resistances, or storm charge if you want to see some big stonks. For the rings, triple flat damage or double flat damage with item rarity, and fill out all of the suffixes with resistances. If you can afford Spirit of the Stag, then you can forgo 30 all res, but this build is made with budget items in mind. To boost the rings, you go for Ingenuity. When you're grabbing this, don't do what I did long ago, purchase one with high increased bonuses and 3 charms, sure. But also look for increased charm charges gained, as they cost basically the same, but will ensure you can keep uptime on your charms, especially if using a rite of passage. And of course, if you have Headhunter, you can use it while mapping, but it's not needed. For the gloves, extra melee ranks and attack speed is just lovely, along with flat damage. There's also a way to grab these on a budget for extra attack speed, and the way to do that is simply to search for a pair with high evasion rating rather than flat damage, and you'll get a huge boost in attack speed that way. But you do you, my man or woman. For boots, literally any boots with high evasion or hybrid evasion energy shield will do. The same goes for the chest, but ideally you'd also have a bunch of resists and spread out your deflection between the two. And of course, evasion and energy shield runes is the way to go in as many sockets as you can after filling out your resistances. For the moment, I'm rocking item rarity here for some extra juice in my maps, but having this somewhere else would be ideal. Finally, the charms. Having Valakko's Will help you out in keeping frenzy charges up, and it's cheap as hell. Fall of the Axe is great for onslaught, but not needed, as the uptime of this is unreliable. And finally, getting one rite of passage charm will grant you a huge damage or defensive boost, so I definitely grab one of these if you can afford them, even if it's one of the cheap ones. They're just too broken. Alright, so that's the gear. Let's check out the gems used, because I've swapped them around a bunch since last time. Firstly, we have called Shot. Previously, we were using Voltaic Mark here, but now we're going for Sniper's Mark to easily gain frenzy charges. Combine that with Mark for Death to break boss armor, cooldown recovery to reduce its cooldown, life tap. Because we don't have any mana in this build, so we won't be able to cast this skill otherwise, and finally charge Profusion for a chance to gain other charges. Tempest Flurry is basically the same though, Rage 3 for rage generation and attack speed, rapid attacks for attack speed, Rigwalds for attack speed, Defy 2 so that we can actually use the skill, and Rakiata's Flow if you can afford it. I would however not go out of my way to obtain this unless you have a bunch of currency, because our clear is spread out coming from Staggering Palm, Charged Staff, and Herald of Thunder as well, so the overall impact is fairly low on the build. It's also possible to use it in your Falling Thunder for one tapping map bosses. I mix and match a bit, depending on the maps I'm running. Charged Staff is used for extra clear, while also culling enemies, and granting us 25% damage when killing shocked enemies, which is up permanently. Easy. Life tap to be able to cast it, elemental armament for big dam, and prolonged duration, as to press it less when mapping. If you don't have Rakiata, however, then you swap this one for lightning exposure, and you'll make sure that enemy resistances are nuked when mapping. Next, our new tech. We've covered this previously in another build, but here's a repeat of how it works just in case you're not a para gaming addict. We're going to socket in combo here via the Culmination Gem. When we attack with our other skills, we generate combo for our hand of Chihuahua, or whatever the fuck it's called. When we use this skill, we spend its combo points. And the reason we want to do this is because of Aelith's Chimes, because spending combo with this allows us to generate power charges. And the reason I'm doing this in hand of whatever is simple, you don't have to hit anything for this to work. All you need is to gather up combo, press the skill, and you'll get your charges. Combine this with Charge Profusion, and you also have a chance to gain Frenzy and Endurance charges, which will grant you attack speed and global defenses on top of the power charges you got. Pretty great, huh? Yeah. And like with all the other skills we're using, Defy 2, and then we grab Voltaic Mark. Because why the hell not? It can grant us an explosion and extra shock magnitude when used. In charge regulation, I have some extra life generation, which you can remove if you don't have the spirit. Ghost Dance as our main source of energy generation. Since you have a buttload of evasion as well, this is enough for all maps that don't drain your energy via ignited ground. So be careful not to stand AFK in a bunch of stupid bullshit there. We have compressed duration to gain more charges for it, and then Wine Dancer for loads of evasion, along with Maim and Blind when something eventually hits you. Next is Staggering Palm. When you stun enemies with this, you'll get a buff that shoots projectiles out of your asshole and clears the entire map for you. And this is one of the reasons I'm choosing Deadeye as ascendency. Here we have 20% projectile damage, along with damage reduction, tailwind of course, and frenzy charges of course. To have it shoot projectiles around you, grab Nova projectiles along with Defy to make it spammable. Then we need to make it actually stun enemies. To do this, grab Ulnetol's Embrace for extra physical damage, along with Heft for even more physical damage, because physical damage is what heavy stuns enemies, and then Stun 2 to Giga boost your stun buildup. Having all of these will allow you to quickly generate charges for your Staggering Palm. The only annoying maps are when enemies are armored. Then it may take a few extra hit to charge this bad boy up, but for all other maps, you'll stun in 1 or 2 hits. We then have Herald of Thunder, which we use to blind the entire screen for an extra defensive layer, along with Longshot, Lightning Penetration, Elemental Armament, and Magnified Area for Big Dam and AoE. Finally, we have our new damage skill, Falling Thunder. This skill spends all of your power charges to deliver a big-ass hit, spawning a bunch of projectiles, which again is boosted via the Deadeye ascendency. So basically, we generate a bunch of charges with the Chihuahua, spend them with Falling Thunder, and boss goes boom. To boost it further, we use combo here as well, and the amount of combo you'll have to generate for a one-shot depends on your gear. Me personally, around 70 should suffice. We then want to get 100% crit chance, ensuring that it always crits. So I'm grabbing Pinpoint Critical along with Inevitable Critical to solve this, which when combined with Charge Regulation gets me at least above 90% crit chance, upwards of 100 depending on what runes I'm currently using in my gear. Finally, Defy to make it usable, an Ambrosia, which is one hell of a gem, and this is important, so listen up, goddammit. This gem spends your Mana Flask charges to deal a huge chunk of damage. So to maximize this, you need to get a Mana Flask with increased charges, which is cheap as hell, mind you. The more, the better. Also, a final note. All skills should be set to both weapon set 1 and 2. For mapping, you use weapon set 1 for high speed and defense, and when you run into a boss, you swap to weapon set 2 for giga damage. Now ask me one more time, what skills should be set to weapon set 1 and 2? I dare you. Great job, friends. Gear and gems complete. Let's head off to the passive tree to see what the hell is going on there. Starting us off, we have projectile speed and point blank for extra damage via Staggering Palm and Falling Thunder. We then grab Called Shots to ensure we gain frenzy charges via Sniper's Mark, along with Tailwind for a large chunk of defense, attack speed, and damage reduction. Next, it's time to grab all of these lovely attack speed and damage nodes, along with some more attack speed, our rare jewel, where this one is exactly what you're looking for, pretty much, and continue down to our first road path. Where should we go? Let's go here. This cluster, Acceleration, is used in weapon set 1, the mapping weapon set. Keep moving until you get to the next cluster, where we have Blind and attack speed for weapon set 1 as well. Then, our crazy good surrounded nodes for defense, attack speed, and I'm also socketing A against the Darkness Jewel here for extra lightning damage. We then go to grab the next surrounded cluster for defense and damage, along with socketing in a Time Lost Emerald. All the nodes here are just insanely good, and you basically want to grab everything, so we may as well get a strong time-lost emerald here, where attack speed and damage is the name of the game. We also have a bunch of rage here, which is another multiplicative multi on top of our damage, along with some attack speed here. Next, it's time to chuck a UE because the next clusters are all the way over in Narnia. Here we find our first weapon, set 2 nodes, where we get crit chance for falling thunder and combo generation, along with a bunch of evasion and deflection nodes. Falcon Technique grants us some attack speed before heading off to get Hollow Palm. We also have a life on kill node here, and I'm just leaving it in for you, because this is what you want if you can't afford the spirit in your gear to get life regeneration there. This one node is definitely enough to keep my life up when mapping then. Next we go for the power charge cluster here for weapon set 2, getting more power charges for one-shotting bosses. The same goes for the next nodes, more power charges for more one-shotting. And again, one final power charge cluster for bossing. Finally, we finish off set 1 as well with a large chunk of defensive nodes, granting us evasion, energy shield, and some attack speed. None of these nodes increases our damage via Hollow Palm, but they're still a must-have as to not fucking die. And with that, we're finally done with the passive tree. Let's check out how you can play the build and stop sucking ass at the game. For mapping, it's real simple. You start off every map by hitting enemies, charging up your combo. Once you're at 10 or so, you can use your Hand of Chihuahua skill to generate power charges for you. You then spend these on your charged staff, and you will be up and running. This is basically all you need to clear out maps, but for extra clear, we're getting our staggering palm up as well. Simply use it until it's stacked up, and you're now fully online. I would like to mention, though, that I don't always use this skill because it may be a bit overkill. In that case, I'm saving it for breaches and high-density areas. In any case, that's all you need to do, along with holding down Tempest Flurry. Once your buffs fall off, you repeat. When it comes to bossing, this is what you want to do. First, we need to swap weapon set to weapon set 2 for that chunky damage bonus. Then, you're stacking up your combo. Again, how much you need depends on your gear, and if you're running tough modifiers in your maps. Once you feel fully stacked, though, you use your Chihuahua skill to generate all of your power charges, followed by a falling thunder. If it doesn't kill the boss, then you repeat and go again. Easy, huh? Yeah. Now go farm some maps with your new favorite build, you dirty dog.